Hi guys, it's Grace, and today I'm going to talk to you about, it's kind of a heavy topic, but that topic is not being believed that you are sick. And since the first day I got really sick, it's something that I had to deal with. I had people I went to school with saying that I just wanted attention and I was making it up. People's parents were saying that, and first of all, no adult should ever accuse a child of not really being sick. I had missed out on so much of my life, and it was extremely hurtful. I would cry about it, how people were saying that, I wasn't sick, I wanted attention, I was just making it all up. But the big thing I'm going to talk about is the medical community not believing you. And I had seen a few doctors who sometimes brought up that they thought my physical symptoms were because I was stressed. They call that convergence disorder, when you're stressed and that causes you to have physical symptoms. So it's not that you aren't sick, but they think that it's a psychological problem. So fast forward years to when I was at CHOP, when I was diagnosed with mitochondrial disease. So that point in my life was honestly the worst experience. I had been in the hospital for 2 months. It was emotional. Doctors told me that there was 3 possibilities for why I was sick. And I remember praying that I had this one disease, which is actually an awful disease that really no one ever wants. And I was praying that I had that because it was the best of the 3 options. And unfortunately, I was diagnosed with mitochondrial disease. And I was told I have this disease. It is a disease I will have my whole life, and that I'm not going to get better from, and it's progressive, so I will get worse in the future. And it was really emotional. I had all these dreams for my life that, just weren't going to happen anymore, and my life changed dramatically. And at that time, I hadn't remembered like 2 weeks before this because of lesions in the brain, and I couldn't walk anymore. And there was proof to me being sick. I had lesions in the exact pattern you get with mitochondrial disease. I had high lactic acid. I had a whole bunch of issues that cannot be faked. There is no way that you can just pretend that happens, and yet doctors still had a psych consult for me because they thought I had fictitious disorder and was making up being sick. Because I was told I had mitochondrial disease, and I researched it, and all of a sudden I knew too much about the disease. So they thought, she knows too much, she is just making it up for attention. And at that time in my life, I was just a mess. It was hard, it was heartbreaking, and that was the last thing I needed. And I'm still traumatized by the whole experience because I was just in the most vulnerable place. And yet there was still a few doctors who were like, she's making it up. So the psychologist came to the conclusion that I wasn't, that I am indeed sick, and that I can't make this up. There's no way for that to happen, which is true. And it still hurts to this day. So I had to go to rehab afterwards because I couldn't walk, I couldn't really write, I had a hard time getting a lot of words out, I had a really bad memory from the lesions, and I actually said something about lesions once, like a week into rehab, and the therapist said, "Who told you you have that?" Like, they were baffled because apparently I had been put into rehab not for mitochondrial disease and brain lesions, but they had in there that I had a convergence disorder, which is that I was just stressed, and that's why I was sick. So that somehow got in my chart, even though that wasn't the case. And I was made to feel crazy. So fast forward, I was in the hospital, in and out, a long time in a wheelchair and everything. And I'm at this point now in my life that we know what I have. We know I have mitochondrial disease. It's what it is. And sometimes I still come across people who act like I'm not sick. I'm just making it up. They act like I choose this life, that I choose to have to leave school, to come back home, my mom she still has to take care of me, but my mom had to do everything for me. She had to help me shower, go to the bathroom. I couldn't walk. I couldn't get dressed on my own. I gave up everything that I thought my future was going to be because I have this disease, because I'm not making it up, because it's impossible to make this up, and people still think, I'm not really sick. And I have seen 3 different mitochondrial disease experts. All 3 of them said 100% I have mitochondrial disease. That's what it is. And even last year I went to a doctor who told me he wasn't convinced. And to me, it baffles me because I look healthy. And because of that, I'm not taken seriously. And they act like I'm just exaggerating. Things really aren't that bad. And I have countless symptoms that 100% cannot be faked. There is clinical evidence of this, and yet people look at me and healthcare professionals and think this girl's not really sick, and it destroys me. And that is the hardest thing to deal with about being sick, is not being believed and wanting to be healthy more than anything in this world. If I could choose one thing, it would be to be healthy. Why would I give up everything? I just wish for a healthy life. And for people to accuse me of just not being sick, making it up, it hurts me. What do they think of my character? What do they think? What kind of person do they think I am? And that's probably the worst. And it's a really hard topic for me to talk about. And I don't talk about it too much, obviously, because it's just very emotional for me. And still to this day, when I go into the hospital, for doctors who have looked over my charts, see everything, know 100% that I am sick, I still feel the need to say, I have these results, there is proof. And they're like, I know, and I'm like, okay, that's good, but I'm just, traumatized by the whole experience. I've been accused of having an eating disorder when I was really underweight, and they actually put me on an eating disorder protocol in the hospital. And I went in because I hadn't had a bowel movement in 2 weeks. Of course I was throwing everything up. I was constipated. And they put me on an eating disorder protocol, and they wouldn't let me go to the bathroom for an hour after I ate because it would burn too many calories. And I just had a whole bunch of really awful experiences like that. It's something that it never gets easier. Being accused of not being sick is it's just something that shouldn't happen, but yet it does, and it's never gonna get easier. And I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. This is a really hard one for me. I know I'm kind of a mess, but thank you so much for watching this, and I hope it sheds some light into what people with rare diseases have to go through. So thank you so much. Bye.